Welcome to another candidate conversation from 25 Women for 2020. Today we're with Erica Lawrence. She's running for House District 72 in New Albany. And today we're going to talk specifically about education. So Erica, tell us, as a legislator, what will you do? What do you think is the most important way to address improving public education in Indiana?
Well, step one is absolutely that we fully fund and resource public schools. And that means that the monies that we are spending in our state for about the voucher program need to be redirected back into true public schools. Public schools do not have admissions criteria. Public schools, you register because we accept all people, all children. So that's something that we definitely need to be mindful of as we think about the Indiana Constitution and how we fund public schools. So fully funding them and fully resourcing them. So that means that we have enough teachers to make sure our class sizes are manageable, that we have people like school counselors in all of our Indiana schools. That's a part of being fully resourced, that we have not only the funding that we need for curricular materials, for grounds, but also that we have the people in place to serve our children and serve them well. So that would be step one in regards to what I would do to make sure that we have great public schools in our state and providing a world-class education for our Hoosiers.
Erica, I'm glad you're on today because I have a burning question. I think it's on the minds of a lot of people in Indiana. This year, due to COVID, we basically decided not to rely on standardized testing to see how kids and teachers are doing in their classrooms.
Mhm.
You're an expert in the field. Is this something that we should go back to next year as kids go back to class, or are there other ways to find out how teaching's going?
In the field of education, we have lots of different types of assessments that we can determine if children are getting better by spending a year in a classroom. And that's an essential element that we need because there is an accountability in regards to education. We should be able to say that a child is better because of the year they spent in this classroom. So there are tools that we can use to measure learner growth. We want to see if children are growing, if they are growing at a normal pace, at an accelerated pace. That's great information. It is absolutely affirming to the teacher that they are moving children in the right direction. It's absolutely affirming to the learner and to their families that their child has exceeded expectations for their growth, not a measurement based on a standard measure for all children, but for that individual. And that's one thing that I'm professionally very proud of, that my children at my school have had abundant learner growth. And that's something that is an absolutely affirming measure. And when teachers and when students are not growing well, we then can immediately respond. These are assessments that don't just happen one time in the year. These are assessment practices that happen throughout the year so that we can immediately respond when children are not growing the way we want them to grow. And that's an important trait for schools because we've got to be immediately responsive to children. So I look forward to us being able to explore lots of other opportunities to measure if our children are getting better because of the practices in our local classrooms. So yes, we absolutely have some improvements that we can do here and ways to celebrate our schools and our learners.
Really good information. I also know we only scratched the surface on finding out more about you as a candidate, your qualifications, and your platforms. What is your website so we can find out more about you?
My website is erica4indiana.com. That's ERICA, the number 4, Indiana.com. I also invite voters to please call me. My phone number is 812-725-9021. I am a listener, I am a learner, and I'm a leader. But the main components here require listening so that I can learn from my constituents. So please, I am wanting to be as accessible as possible. Please call me so that I can listen to you, I can learn from you, and I can collectively lead.
And what is your email so people can get active in your campaign? Where can they reach you?
e.scottlawrence@gmail.com. That's the letter E.scottlawrence@gmail.com.
Great. And I encourage everybody to check out more about Erica on her social media, especially Facebook, where you can see so much of what she's doing out and about in her community and in her district. Share that with your friends and family. And also to find out more about Erica and all the other women running on our team, that's at 25womenfor2020.org. Thank you so much for coming in today, Erica.
Thank you.
Great. All right. And I just want to throw out my shout out to get out and make sure that you are registered to vote by visiting www.indianavoters.com. And if you are not registered, you can register at that very same website. You can also find your polling place on that website, and you can request an absentee ballot from that website. So please make sure that you're registered. I challenge you to find 10 people you know and ensure that they are registered and that they make it to the polls. And I hope that when they vote, they will vote for Erica Lawrence because she's awesome. So, all right, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.